आइए सीधे चलते हैं विज्ञान भवन, जहां राष्ट्रपति प्रणब मुखर्जी इस सम्मेलन को संबोधित कर रहे हैं।
Both the Honorable Speaker and distinguished Chairman of the Council of States have stated the state of affairs in the Indian Parliament in respect of a representation of the women, which constitute almost 50% of Indian population. Never, since the first general election in 1952 till date, we have not been able to ensure the representation of the women, not more than 12%. It's a sad commentary on us. Though from the day one, with the adoption of the Constitution of India on 26 January 1950, we declared in the text of the Constitution that all citizens will have equal right, equality before law, equal rights in every sphere and activity of life. The subject for your deliberations for the next 2 days would be empowerment. How there can be empowerment without representation? How there can be empowerment of the women not merely by gratis, but as a right, as a fundamental right enshrined in the Constitution of India, and not only India, almost all constitutions in the world, including Chapter 7 of United Nations Declaration and series of resolutions, conventions in international human rights organization. I thank Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi for immediately after assuming the office picking up a slogan in Indian language, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and his firm commitment to this true empowerment of the Indian women is exemplified by his presence here. He is not participating, he is not speaking, he is not giving us advice. But Prime Minister of India is spending more than an hour without participation. It speaks his total commitment to what he preaches and what he believes. I remember what tremendous changes took place. Dr. Hamid Ansari has referred to the Nordic countries' representations, true. But the process began from the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, and thereafter in the subsequent several years, series of changes took place. It is surprising to note that even in Mother of Parliament, England, where we do consider from the days of signing Magna Carta, in June 1215, the birth of parliamentary system, women's voting right was not granted before 1924. Through a Charter Act, it was legislated and the women got their power. Because there was a revolution all over Europe. And here we have seen in our own eyes, both Honorable Speaker and Vice President have referred to how the women can improve the lot of the society, not only of themselves, but improve the lot of the society when opportunities are being given. Through 73rd, 74th Amendment of the Constitution of India once, it was agreed upon to have the one-third reservations for the women in the local bodies, panchayats and municipalities, and inserting articles 243A to 243Q. Today, more than 1.27 million women representations are there, and they are doing excellent jobs. So far, the fulfillment of the Panchayati Raj and municipalities are concerned. And actual representation today is more than one-third, 33%. It is around 43%. Seeing the very good impact of it, many states have increased the reservation from 33% to 50%, and many more states are trying to follow the queue. I am particularly referring to this because during my days in Parliament, and one of the living eyewitnesses is present here, our External Affairs Minister, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, how much we made efforts to have one-third reservations for the women in the state legislatures and Indian Parliament. We have not been able. It is unfortunate for us. And even the legislation being passed and approved with two-third majority in one of the House of the Parliament of India as per the requirement of the Constitution, the other House has not yet approved. And Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha and Honorable Vice President has rightly pointed out here lies the commitment of the political parties in actual action, not in words, not in resolutions. It would be easier. And unless there is reservations, I am afraid, in a developing society like ours, to expect that the political parties will represent one-third of the candidates, if every political party does not fall in line, and to expect it that everybody will fall in a particular line is too much. Honorable Vice President has specifically mentioned about the parliamentary committees, standing committees. Well, it does not happen. Even where there are free choices, it would not happen unless you have the options are for the members and the political parties who are to choose their representations. As per the parliamentary system, it is being distributed as per the strength of the political parties, and they are to nominate to the standing committees. And therefore, this attitudinal change is necessary, and I do feel we would do a great job if we try to revive the Women Representation Bill, one-third reservations in the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, in the Vidhan Sabha. I am confident that it will come within the discussions of your 2 days by making the necessary amendment to the Constitution. And surely that the United Nations, when they have suggested, and after making some studies, they have reported that the women representation is quite inadequate all over the world, even in the group of the United Nations. The percentage of women in the national legislatures across the world is about 19%. And we have already mentioned, India has about 12% representation of women in the parliament and ranks 109th amongst the 190 countries which have been enumerated in that list. The United Nations has declared that there is, in the International Women's Day of 2016, as Planet 50/50 by 2030, step it up for gender equality. The observance of the International Women's Day on 8th March will reflect the collective will of the nations to accelerate the 2030 agenda. The global community has to rededicate themselves to gender equality and women empowerment, and the organization of the National Conference of Women Legislature is a step, to my mind, in the right direction. And this agenda should be carried forward. It cannot be confined to be deliberations in a couple of days, and there should be sustained efforts to take the necessary follow-up action. Honorable Speaker of Bangladesh is present amidst us. Life of parliamentary politics in Bangladesh is not very long. But I compliment her, and through her to the people of Bangladesh, for making their firm commitment to parliamentary politics, as a result of which international community has recognized them by offering the leadership of both IPU and Commonwealth Parliamentary Associations to the representatives of Bangladesh. And Madam Speaker of Bangladesh, Dr. Chowdhury herself is the chairperson of Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have taken little more time than I intended to have. But as when I look at from a bit distance, because I cannot participate, though constitutionally Indian Parliament consists of President and 2 houses of Parliament, but it is also equally, there is a provision in the Constitution, the moment you are elected President, you cease to be a member of the any house, either state legislature or central legislature, your membership will cease to exist. Therefore, I have taken my leave after long 43 years from the floor of Parliament on 25th July 2012, when I was elected President. But I look at what they are doing, how they are doing. And as an old colleague of yours, honorable members of Parliament, I feel that you should do this, you should do that. Of course, in my own mind, watching at the television screen. I wish the conference all success. I compliment once again the Honorable Speaker. Many, many years ago, we considered that the women is the empowerment. Honorable Speaker has compared women with the river, flowing river on the bank of which civilization was born. And we conceptualized Stri Shakti. Women is the power of creation, equally destruction of the evil forces. Stri Shakti. And let us create a conducive atmosphere, not merely by passing legislations, expressing our pious wishes through the resolutions, but by our action. And I wish the conference all success. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.